What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Phase 6, your source for music, business, motivation, and support. It's your boy, Sir Love, and today we have a dope topic for you once again, like we always do. We're going to be talking about fame versus money, the music conundrum. Let's jump into it. So first off, I'd like to say welcome back to the channel. As you guys can see, I'm a couple shades darker. Just got back from the beach, enjoying myself, having some fun, kicking it on the yacht with a couple of the homies and this, that, and the third, having a great time. And so I look a little bit different. I hope it's appealing. I hope the light's doing something for me. I hope it's the sexy chocolates kicking in. But outside of that, I really want to talk about fame and money. This is a conversation I find myself having all the time with different artists and different people that are trying to get in the game. And I want to explain to you guys this conundrum. This is something that I've noticed. This is something that a lot of other people, executives and people in position have noticed. These are conversations and debates that we've had around this subject. And I want to include you guys on it because I feel like it will affect the way that you go about doing business and the way that you go about thinking going forward. So the fame versus money conundrum is this. In this business, unless you have a lot of leverage, there's normally two strategies that you can impose. Now, of course, from a marketing standpoint, there's a million different things you can do. From a publishing standpoint, there's all these different things. From a record label strategy standpoint, for trying to get a deal, there's so many different things you can do. But they all come down to this basic premise, which is fame and money. Now, recognize that every action that you do will typically only lead to growth in one of these areas until you get to a certain point where you kind of have the duality of both. Now, what do I mean by that? Let me clarify this, okay? So a lot of times you guys may be saying, for example, hey, I want to invest in, Instagram. I'm going to buy all these different Instagram ads, and I want to get more and more followers, right? You get all these different followers that decide to follow you, and they may not be following you for your music. They're following you because they saw an ad, the picture looked cool, the video was hot, whatever it was, the aesthetic, the appeal, it was funny, whatever it was. People started following you. You're like, yes, my followers are up. Your followers equal fame in today's world, right? They equal fame, but they do not necessarily equal money. Right? So now you're putting yourself in a situation where you've gotten more famous, but you release a project independently on your own and nobody's streaming it. No one's going to check it out. No one's going to listen to it. You're going, man, I have 100,000 followers, but my YouTube views on my video are still 2,000. Why? It's because you've invested your money into fame instead of investing your money into making more money. You could have taken that exact same amount of bread and you could have invested that money into some initiatives that would have drove sales. Like you could have created merch and then did ads advertising your merch to people that like wearing that type of stuff. Instead of saying, hey, buy my merch because of my music, buy my merch because my merch is cool and it fits who you are, because everyone is selfish in a social media driven world, right? The same amount of money invested in Instagram advertising can lead to sales of merchandise or fame and followers, right? That's just an example of the type of decisions that you can make. I see people make these decisions all the time. It really looks like a lot of you guys from a marketing standpoint, a lot of you guys from an investing standpoint are doing a lot of investing in what's called fame. Things that's going to make your followers go up, things that's going to make your views go up, things that's going to make your subscribers go up. The reason you guys are doing this, some of you, is because it's self-validation. It makes you feel good. It makes you feel important. It makes you somebody. You say the more followers and more, people that are supporting you that you get, the more, ad placements that you guys can get, the way you can turn that money or you can turn that fame into money somehow by saying, hey, I have a platform. Let me advertise your product, which is true. But that just makes you an Instagrammer. That just makes you a YouTuber. That just makes you anyone else that's creating content in order to sell someone else's product, right? But if you're an artist and you're trying to sell your product, you have your own product to sell, then you have to start thinking about money. What am I going to do to actually get money? Because this is a business. So when it comes, and the conversation I have with executives goes like this. So when it comes down to later down the line and you're sitting down in an executive room and you're trying to close a deal, you're saying, look at my views, look at my subscribers, look at my this, look at my that, look at my this. You're asking them to monetize it for you because you haven't figured out how to monetize it yourself. You figured out how to get an audience, but you don't necessarily know how to engage with your audience or to make your audience purchase. Therefore, the labels will set minimum requirements of followers, subscribers, etc., that they know how to activate and turn that audience into paid customers. So they'll tell you, you need X amount of this, X amount of that, X amount of this. Every label is different on how they handle that scenario. But that is the fame-driven route. Okay, a lot of you guys are also chasing, the bag. You're like, man, I want to own everything. I want to own my masters. I want to own all my copyrights. I want to get all this money. I don't want to sign a 360. I want to be a boss. I want to run my shit, right? But you're not doing anything boss-like, because if you was a boss, you'd be about making money. You wouldn't be about being the most famous bakery on a corner if that bakery ain't got no sales. The bakery ain't going to survive, right? We see it all the time when popping clubs, or what clubs we think are popping, all of a sudden shut down. Because they weren't making enough money. Everyone knew about it, but people weren't actually going. Fame versus money. So you can have you can have a completely different conversation in those offices when you get to that level, or if it's not in those offices, when it comes down to getting book performances, or when it comes down to getting record on radio, or it comes down to any other negotiation or deal that you're trying to do, if you're able to show money value, which is someone that says, hey, I only have 10,000 subscribers or 5,000 subscribers, but when I do a show, 600 people come out. That's a completely different conversation. I've been to concerts. I've recently been to a show where the lead person, or the headliner, and I'm not going to put all these people on blast, had 80,000 followers and people didn't show out. I've seen someone with 400,000 followers. People didn't show out. And the argument is that our followers are all over the country, this, that, and the third. But at this exact point, I can't put you on a show or on a stage in any one venue in any one individual city, and you bring enough people for me to get a return on my investment. Therefore, you're famous, that's nice, but it doesn't benefit anyone that wants to do business with you, because you haven't created a system for making money, right? So I want to challenge you guys. This video is all about getting guys to think differently. Fame versus money. When you make your decisions every single day for your career, are you doing it for fame? Are you doing it for money? Now, if you're an artist, this is obviously not going to resonate with you, because you're going to say, yo, I'm not doing it for the money. I'm doing it because this is what I love to do. And this is my passion. I want to change the world. I got this message. I got this whatever. This video is not for you. This video is for the people that are handling your business on the back end, because they have to be thinking about this while you're creating the art and being all, whatever you're on. The business person behind the scenes has to go, are we adding towards fame? Are we adding towards money? Now, both of these things can be leveraged to create one another. You can use money to create fame. Like, you can buy fame, right? That's what a lot of you guys do when you buy advertisements. You're buying fame, right? Then you can take fame and you can flip it into money. Now, it's way easier to buy fame than it is to turn fame into money. That's the reason when you can be an expert at creating money revenues. You can say, hey, I only have 10,000 followers, but I can tour 5 different cities, and I can make 500 people come up in 5 different cities, but I only have 10,000 followers. 500 people come out is what I'm trying to say. And I only have 10,000 followers. That's probably more valuable than someone that says, hey, I have 300,000 followers, but I can't do any of that. I'm not bringing in any revenue right now. I'm not making any money, but I look like the shit, right? Because it's very easy to take that person that's making, $2,000 every time they do a performance just from selling tickets. It's easier to get that person famous, because the only thing they have to do is buy fame. The same thing that we do when we buy ads. So recognize the value that you're trying to present. So when you go into these offices, you go into these meetings and you're bragging about how famous you are, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to recognize, oh my God, you're famous. We want to give you the world. Right? That's what the average person does. That's what, when you walk in the mall and the girls or the guys or whoever that knows you is like, oh my God, that's so-and-so. Let me take a picture with you. They're impressed with that. Okay. The average consumer is impressed by your fame. And that's one of the reasons why you need fame, right? To attract the average consumer, right? But business people are attracted to the potential money that you can create. Fame versus money. This is a thought that a lot of people do not have, that you need to start having going forward. So I want to challenge you. This video is all about challenging you to think about how you're doing your marketing initiatives, how you're investing your money into your career, the type of things that you guys are doing once you leave the studio. I want you to ask yourself, is this adding to our fame, or is this adding to our money? Is this adding to our ability to get a check? Okay, I have X amount of followers. How many people come out to a show? How many people are streaming the music? How many people? Now, streams, money. Shows, streams, shows, money. Merchandise sales, money. Publishing, growing, money. All these different things, this is money. This is opportunity for a business to get involved with you and see how they can benefit. This gives you negotiating power. This gives you the ability to leverage to get more fame. Then you have fame, which is your followers, your subscribers, any other metric on social media, how many people know who you are, right? And if you get the numbers high enough, and that bar is constantly raising, the more and more people are engaging in social media, the more social media platforms come out there. It's just that number is consistently rising, right? But if you're hitting those numbers, if you're hitting 500,000, subscribers, 500,000 followers, whatever, a million, all these different numbers over here, of course, there's an opportunity to have a conversation. But 30,000 is not the number anymore, right? 50,000 is not the number anymore. This bar is constantly raising. This bar is consistent. This bar is the same. This is the money conversation. This is the fame conversation. What are you chasing? What's important to you? All right. Also, when you close your record deals, a lot of times when you're doing deals, a lot of times the deals are fame driven. If you're a fame driven artist, they're going to give you a fame driven deal. We're going to make you more famous, right? Where if you're a money driven artist, you're having a different conversation because they recognize that you understand how to get money. So they can't just come in and say, hey, we're going to make you famous. They also have to figure out, all right, I know you're getting money. Let's talk about how we can get money together. Changes the whole conversation when you're working in this space. So two different things to think about. That's why I talk about this in the management series I did, the management info pack. So I talk about this in the publishing info pack. We talk about this in the booking info pack. I really talk about this in all the different things that I do, but I wanted to present it to you guys right now in a different, mindset. Fame versus money. Take that. I challenge you to write down all the different things that you guys have done over the course of the year, and write the word fame or money next to it. Add it up at the end. See how much time, money, and energy you're spending on fame, how much energy you're spending on money, and figure out what your strategy is around fame and money and how you're going to use those things to get the converse or vice versa or whatever. That's all I got for you guys. I'd like to thank you for your time. It's your boy Sir Love, Phase 6. Go to the website, www.phasevi.com. Like, subscribe, support the channel. Let's get it in. It's your boy Sir Love. I'm out.